What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Hope you guys are all having an amazing day. Welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. Merry Crashmas. That's what I'm saying today. Merry Crashmas as the markets are coming down hard in the overnight on the announcements of the new strain of coronavirus scaring everybody. Combine that with the U.S. stimulus bill, combine that with a second vaccine, all things happening today. So we're going to review a little bit about set it and forget it trades and why we don't really do set it and forget it style of trading. So if you're new to the channel, do me a favor, click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can get the alerts and the updates as they happen. If you are a regular returning viewer, make sure that you hit the like button, hit the share so that we can share this thing out so that the other world gets to see. All right, let's go ahead and get rolling. So looking at our markets this morning, I'm going to start over here at the S&P. So starting at the S&P, we are down 63 points, 1.7%. The Dow's down 1.45, the Nasdaq's down 1.08, and the Russell's down 2.69%. So our small caps are definitely leading us down. But what is this strong move down? Where did this stem from? Well, we talked last night about the fact that we were seeing a little bit of weakness coming into here and that we had a little 15-minute area here that you could give it a go. And note that at that 15-minute area, we really were basing a bit. Now, our rule is pretty simple. I don't really do set it and forget it. And the reason I don't do set it and forget it is because you cannot see the arrival in the setups, right? You cannot see the arrival in the setups. Yeah, sorry about the video not being as easy to find today. I frankly didn't even set it up until about 5 minutes ago, so that's why. Now, when we do this, all of a sudden, our 4-hour trend, if I throw this on here, and we were talking about it last night. Oops, I don't want to delete it. Our 4-hour trend, we've got swing high, swing low, swing high. We broke below our lowest swing low. So what does that do to our demand levels? Well, it makes our demand levels switch to confirmation entries. When you break below your last swing low, it shifts your demand levels to confirmation entries. And you're never going to see that if you do set it and forget it style trades. You're just not going to. And so we don't do true set it and forget it style trades because that's what keeps us out of the wrong trade. Now, by the way, I love this area of demand. This area of demand was excellent. But it still has to follow. The rules of our trades. Everything's set up well for this demand area, but it did not follow our confirmation. Very good, John. That's what I'm. Those of you guys that are up for this market condition, you're able to see what's happening, and I'm glad you changed it to confirmation. Now all of our demand levels are confirmation entries. They have to be because of our quick trend shift. Now, that means that I remove all these levels down here, and I've got to go back and find, well, Dwight zones never fail, Dennis. I mean, that's the other thing to consider about Dwight zones. Dwight zones never fail. They're literally foolproof. And figuratively foolproof, because you can be a fool, and they still will work. So here we have 3683 by 3688. I can't wait to see what Dwight's Christmas message is. So 3683 by 3688, this would be a decent reversal point if price does come back up there. I don't know if we're going to make it back up there this evening or this afternoon anytime soon. Let's look and see if we get a candle-to-candle reversal pattern somewhere in here. Although we did just put in a really clean, that's a really clean high wave doji, high wave spinning top in here that we could see a reversal off of this level. But this is a great example of I need to see the arrival into a level, and that's why I do alerts, right? Alerts to me are more valuable than set it and forget it style of trades. And if I'm asleep and I miss a good trade, que sera, right? Everything is not a big deal. Let's see, 35.94-ish for confirmation. See, I would think 35.94-ish for a potential breakdown, Mesnock. And the reason for that is because we've got touch, 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 I would think down here for a breakdown below 35.95. I think that's actually a better setup for a breakdown rather than a confirmation long. Okay, the set and succeed just might be the greatest comment I think I've seen in a long time, Steve. That's good that Dwight doesn't do set and forget. He does set and succeeds. I'm literally taking a picture of that comment and sending it to Dwight. I have his cell phone number. I know that's hard to believe. Yeah, bounced off that pivot. I think that we've already bounced off that pivot. Now, by the way, if one of you already took it as a confirmation long, then great. I see it's working pretty well. But I like it actually for a continuation of the move down if in case we get there. I'm not looking to chase, by the way. I am not looking to chase. You know, if you think about it, we've rallied up about 40 points from this low, right? So we were down nearly 100 points. So we've rallied about 40 points from this low, but I think there's a chance that we could base in here and come down a bit further. So keep that in your mind. If you want to try a reversal, like I said, this hourly chart is technically a reversal candlestick. It's a pretty wide candlestick, 36.52 by 36.32. I mean, that's a 20-point candlestick. So you've got a wide stop on it and give yourself a lot of wide berth. But we could get another reversal candle inside the range of this one. And if we get another reversal candle inside the range of this one, then you've got a move down. If we get a red one inside the range of this green one, that could still be considered a reversal pattern. In our NASDAQ, now NASDAQ, we had our area of demand. Price went right through this first area of demand. We came to our secondary area. Now, in this one, if I look at my 4-hour, my 4-hour broke through the low, came through, and we had a lower low, broke through the first level. And if you had a limit entry set up, it was a quick stop out. Second level, which was our confirmation long, is really where we bounced off of this zone. Do I think it's going to hold there for very long? Frankly, not really. I think that we could continue to come down a bit. The question really becomes is how scared are people about this new strain of the coronavirus? And I think that's what's spooking people out. I think the sudden shift to the lockdown in the UK really put some fear into the market overnight. And I didn't read any of the exact news, but it certainly it definitely spooked the market at the very least. And so I normally would wrap my lines around this area, but frankly, to me, that's a little too close to the all-time high. And so I'm going to look for a candle-to-candle opportunity in here. If we come back down, the breakout's just not here in the NQ like it is in the other markets. Yes, Dennis, it was. I think it was last year. It might have been the year before that. There was a Christmas Eve sell-off one year that was really solid. I mean, it was a strong sell-off on Christmas Eve. All right, the Russell. So in the Russell, we had this. Now, we talked last night in the Russell about this potentially being, if you wanted to go short, and last night the Russell was our weakest market, and we talked about the fact that if you were, Brexit Island, I know. Hopefully that thing will just get figured out. Is that if you were looking at a short, that below 1960 made a lot of sense. We did get a touch, and then broke below. And if you wanted to take a retest, you got a retest of it. So, for those of you that were up and able to take this was actually the best trade, as then it blew through. Now, that puts us into confirmation entry for every demand level below us as it broke below in here. But that was our best setup from last night's live trade room, was the breakdown below this 1960 region. And price then came down to the two areas of demand, which are confirmations, and blew right through them without giving us a clean entry. Now, I will say that when I look at the candle-to-candle on this one, we're already almost below the entry right here. So if this one comes back up throughout the day, I would say that this one gives me a better entry somewhere up in here. Let me see if I can shrink that on a 15. Not really. 1943 by 1954, if we do come back up into this region because of this area of support. I do agree, though, that the ES looks to be the best short overall from its structure and what we have. The YM, we talked about the YM being very range bound last night. Last night we were still inside of that range until we broke it here just in the last few hours. So since we've broken that range, this is back in play up here at that level, but it's also the same structural setup right here for the reversal. So equities markets are all showing me a bit of weakness today. Do I think that it's going to last for very long? This market has shown us that it does not, right? This market has shown us that it's very, very resilient and that none of these pullbacks last for too long. So with none of these pullbacks lasting as long as they have been, I think it's safe to say that it's probably not going to continue to run forever. Energies and metals, looking first at the CL trade. So looking at our crude oil level, we looked last night at this little CL trade. We never came back and retested it, unfortunately. I'm going to remove it at this point. I think it still could get there. But our 4-hour trend has shown us a little bit of a lower low, lower high after we saw the momentum starting to weaken. And so this one actually just now rallied back up into a supply level. If you want to take this one as a short, I really like this as a short right now because it's got a candle-to-candle setup and it reversed back to this little drop-based drop below a pivot high. So that's actually that's an invitation to get short with a target of about 46. I think there's a case that this could make it all the way down to 46. Gold yesterday, this son of a gun, we did pop above our gold level without the prerequisite basing. We then did get a retest into our level. So it did retest our entry level. And price moved away, gave you greater than a 3-to-1 reward to risk. So technically, that level did wind up working out for that tiny little wick over wick area that we had talked about yesterday for a 3-to-1 reward to risk. It then failed, came back down, based in front of the level, and then dropped right through this one. And now that changes our overall trend, right? At that point, our overall trend shifts. As our 4-hour puts it. No, technically not. I don't have a lower swing high as of yet. I have a lower low, but I do not have a lower high. Yeah, I've got a lower low right through here, and my zigzag's not showing it, but I do have a lower than this swing low, but I do not have a lower high. So if you tried to take your first level, then certainly there's no doubt you should not have gotten in on that one, but your second level you may have gotten a quick stop out on. And these levels usually hold. Right? And, I don't care who you are. You're not going to win against geopolitical movements and a pandemic in your trading. So this one's definitely following all the rules. You're still like a puppy who gets whacked in the nose on that one. Now, you do have a little candle-to-candle reversal set up here. Price has already started to move away from there. You've moved about 6 points from your entry if you took the candle-to-candle. I don't know that I would jump in right now because I feel like at that point I would be chasing. So at this point, I would just hold back and wait. None of these demand areas below us are very strong, and so I would wait at the moment for us to get a decent setup for either A, a quality breakdown, or B, a retracement back to a supply level that I can splice back into the short. Yeah, that's a good idea, John. And that's the other side is that, it is reversing. This is definitely panic selling. This is a picture of panic selling. And panic selling sometimes reverses back to panic buying. And so I'm just not going to participate in that hot messness. Nat gas, we're in a range. We've been in this range for a while. I do have a decent basing area here if price breaks through there. I would normally say that I don't have room to roam, but this area of demand here, we've hit it too many times, and it's not going to be a great setup. And if we get the basing here, that'd be basing before this level, so I think you've got a chance for price to move through it. And then our last one was copper. This was actually the one I liked the most last night, was copper above 36,440, 455. We did not get a follow-through on there, but I still love this if price comes back to it. We broke through the first level, bounced off the second, but I think we're going to be pulling back for a little bit in here as the panic continues on the way down. I'm not going to participate in said panic, though. I'm just not going to do it. It doesn't make any sense. When the market's not giving me an entry, I don't necessarily need to get emotionally. And it's good, great word, Dennis. Emotional. I don't need to get emotionally involved with a market that's not going to give me great setups. All right, let me share this one out. All right, I want to take a quick look at ags, although I didn't see a whole lot with agricultural futures last night. There wasn't a lot of great setup, so I don't want to spend much time on this. I got to pop off here a few minutes early today. Bean oil, we did get a breakdown, but we didn't get the prerequisite basing necessary for a clean entry. And without doing set it and forget it trading, then it's not going to get me in. I will say that I do have now at that breakout line a wick over wick that is present where we could see a reversal. Other than that, really nothing on the agriculturals to talk about. Corn is coming close to the demand area here, but nothing there worth me, going head over heels about. And that's one thing I hope you guys can realize about me is that there's a lot of things I am. Emotional is not one of them. I do not let my emotions get in the way of a good or a bad trade for that matter. I'm going to still follow my rules. And on a day like today where the market's selling off at a panic sell, I'm not going to participate in that hot mess. All right. Now, currencies did give us a couple of entries from our positions last night. We do have this area here. We talked about a potential breakout above was 138. It's not in there. David, I think the panic is on the new strain of the coronavirus and the shutdown in the UK. So that's what the market appears to be reacting to. It's typically, what people are thinking about right now. So, yeah. So, and by the way, when I want news, I typically go to IBD, Investors Business Daily. I mean, I'm not saying anything that you guys don't know. IBD's, they got a lot of really good stuff. And the thing I like about it is it typically gives me a really good headline right here. Futures tumble on new COVID strain. That tells me, that's what's doing it in there. So I tend to use that one. All right. The euro. So in our euro trade, now we did have a good short setup in the euro last night, and price did come back into this pivot area and gave us a really clean entry. I unfortunately was not awake to trade it, but if you were awake, John, Dennis, Jose, any of you that are around the pond, hopefully you saw this level. This was a fairly clean entry with a very strong move away. Turned out to be a very nice trade and a very nice setup. I think that if I look at this on a 4-hour, we can see that the weakness is here. And our next trade to me is a breakdown below here. That would, to me, would be our next trade. Canadian dollar did not make it back up to our little area of supply that we had identified and actually broke through our demand, but it broke through our demand as we've put in definitely lower swing lows, confirmation entry only. And so now I'm looking for rallies back up to areas of supply as an opportunity to get short. I would look right in here as your next short zone. All right, let me put this one out. All right, last currencies. New Zealand dollar, Great British pound, Japanese yen, and Australian dollar. So on the New Zealand dollar first, we had talked about the fact that there was definitely some breakdown possible in this range. I didn't draw a line because I didn't feel like it was an exact clean line. But notice right above there, we got strong basing and then a very big drop away. Now, not only did we get strong basing right there, but we got strong basing in a bit of a descending triangle pattern. So this was the picture perfect example of a breakdown for those of you that were in front of the markets and able to take it. I really like that setup as far as breakdowns go. Now, clearly we are 4 hour, we've gotten a lower low and a lower high in this one, so we're looking at reversal trades on rallies back up to areas of supply. This is the cleanest one right here where that triangle was, but I don't know that we're going to make it up there. Let's look and see if this goes candle to candle. Great British Pound, we gapped down in the at the Globex Open. Certainly, this being the epicenter of where the new strain is, and people are freaking out. That's why we had the gap down in the currency. Price fell. We did get a little rally back up last night. Unfortunately, not enough to get us into our short. And so now I'd look for a candle to candle short on a rally back up. I think that's the best trade. This is a good example of why we go candle to candle, because this is a good reversal candlestick. And we've not yet gotten below it. Now, we might get below it, but until we get below a candle-to-candle reversal, then there's no entry on there, right? So there's no reason to take a loss. Japanese yen came through our breakdown trade to our next opposing area of demand and gave us a little bit of basing, so you may or may not have gotten in there for a small move on basically a small scalp almost. And now we're just about rallied back up into a decent area of supply. So if you guys want to try, 4 hour here is still kind of sideways. So if you want to try this, I would only try this as a confirmation. But we have come back here as supply. And then the Australian dollar was really the one we liked the best last night for a breakdown. Notice this one gave us the breakdown, hit our profit objective. Based inside of here. So if you took the long on this one, it actually came through the level first, didn't give you an entry, and then came to our demand level down here, and we've gotten a decent rally. I think that old support, old demand often comes X is new supply. So let's see if we reverse back down right in here. I think we could hit here and reverse back down, and that would take this level completely out of play. So hopefully you're able to catch some of that move. And keep an eye on this as a flip. I'm just going to switch this to a yellow chart, or a yellow line, because it's more of a flip setup at this point. Now, with those flip setups, you got to give yourself a little bit more wiggle room on the stop, but I think we could get a flip setup out of that zone. Let me share this one. All right, real quick, as far as this week's daily market commentary goes, we'll be having our DMC tomorrow, but I don't plan on doing the DMC the rest of the week. I really want to take the week off, frankly. We're doing our DMC tomorrow. For those of you that weren't in our live trade room last night, on Wednesday night, we're going to do something fun. We're going to do our Traders Army holiday gathering. It's still our open forum Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock, and we'll probably broadcast that one live on YouTube as well. So those of you that watch us on the DMC, feel free to join us. We're gonna pour a frosty beverage. Maybe I'll wear an ugly sweater. And Corey and I are gonna talk trading. We're gonna open it up to anybody who wants to talk trading or any questions that you guys want to ask or things to review. And we're gonna tell some jokes the best way we can. So that's what we're gonna do. If you guys have any questions, please send us an email. chuck.fulkerson@tradersarmy.com. John. Well, I hope that that's the best amusement in the UK, John, and everybody kind of figures everything out and things are all right. So enjoy yourself, everybody. I will talk to you soon. Have a great day. Peace out. See ya.